Do I need a lawyer to invest in real estate?
It depends. Scared money does not make money. You have to put up money to take risks to go do what you want to do.
All right, Ask a Lawyer series. This is, me playing kind of like the everyman role to you, the lawyer. Just a quick introduction if this is someone's first time watching you on YouTube or wherever they're watching this. Quick intro on who you are and what you do.
Yeah. My name is Shams Merchant. I'm a syndication investment fund attorney, sometimes referred to as a securities attorney or a private equity attorney. And pretty much I help clients structure real estate and other types of syndications and investment funds and other investment vehicles to raise capital, buy deals, do projects, and make a lot of money.
Cool. Perfect. That's the goal. Yeah. Here's a dumb question we're going to go to start this out with is, do I need a lawyer to invest in real estate?
It depends, which is the best lawyer answer.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
that I can give you.
Such an attorney question answer for me. Yeah.
It depends because it depends on what type of real estate investing you're doing. If you're buying a single family home as an investment, you probably don't need a lawyer for that. If it's a very straightforward purchase, there's good AI tools now that can help you with some of the contracts and things like that if it's very simple. And I do recommend those clients from time to time if that's what they're doing. On the flip side, if you're buying a $50 million apartment building, the answer is 100% you need a lawyer involved. Otherwise, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're not going to be protected. There's just too much. There's just too much going on and too much to do. And there's legal risks and liabilities out the wazoo for something like that. So yes, you do need an attorney if you're doing something like that. Also, if you're raising money from investors, so you're raising capital from passive investors, you always need an attorney for that to structure an SEC compliant investment vehicle, either a syndication or a fund under Regulation D, 506B or C, Regulation A, Regulation CF.
See all that stuff.
Regulation
just
S,
Yep.
So you just
100%.
Essentially there's just exemptions under the SEC that let you go raise capital under a safe harbor. And so yes, if you're raising money from passive investors, you need to have an attorney involved so that you are staying compliant with the SEC.
Yep. And when it comes to raising money, I think that's the part just very passively from me knowing, just kind of how investing works. The big question is how do I raise capital? I know you've mentioned that you have a database of 14 million people who are accredited investors in this country. That's all fine and well, but how do I find these people? How do I talk to them? I mean, is it as simple as just going to my rich uncle and just being like, hey, I have this deal. Do you want to kick in $1 million to get this thing going? Or do I have to go talk to random people as well? Yeah. Just walk me through the raising money aspect of who do I talk to? Whose money do I get?
Yeah. Well, again, I'm going to go back to the lawyer answer. It depends.
Of course, yeah.
Depending on how you've structured the offering, the private placement offering that we've done for you, right? You can go in multiple different directions with raising capital. There's a whole host of number of ways you can do it, and everyone does it a little bit differently, but there are tried and true methods of how to raise capital. You mentioned, hey, can I just go to my rich uncle and ask him to invest? You sure can do that. And whether you're under a 506B or C offering, you could probably do that regardless. If the way you say your rich uncle, I'm assuming your rich uncle probably is going to be an accredited investor, which the SEC defines as someone that makes at least $200,000 of income for the past 2 years as a single filer, or $300,000 as a joint filer, or has $1 million of net worth, excluding their primary residence. That's an accredited investor. Under a 506C offering, you can only raise money from accredited investors. You cannot raise money from anybody else. So if someone's not accredited, they cannot invest in your offering. And there's ways to verify that. But that is the rule for 506C. The benefit of that is you can go solicit capital from those 14 million people that I just mentioned that are accredited investors. You can solicit capital from anyone in the country, as long as they're an accredited investor, which you have to verify. But there's no limits as to how you can go solicit capital. You can do Facebook ads. You can run email campaigns. You can post flyers. You can hold a conference. You can host a dinner. You can do a whole host of things. All of those are permissible to go raise capital because there's no real limitations when you're a 506C. You're allowed to generally solicit. That's what the SEC, how the SEC.
So you can literally go find the money, go chase the money, go do whatever you want to do.
You can go chase money. Yeah, you can go reach out to everyone you've ever even talked to or know or whatever. Again, with the only caveat that you have to verify that they're an accredited investor if they're going to invest in your offering. Now, flip side of that is a 506B. Under a 506B, you cannot generally solicit investments. That means we can't help you with that give you access to that 14 million
Accredited.
list of accredited investors and help you target them. We can't do that for you. We can't help you solicit that capital because you have to have a pre-existing relationship with anyone you raise capital from under a 506B. Your uncle would qualify under that.
Right.
So that would work under a 506B, and that would be that would be fine. But for example, you can't just go find any Joe Blow off the street that you haven't met and say, hey, do you want to invest in my real estate deal? You can't do that because you now just solicit that person. You
Under
don't know
a
them.
506B.
Under a 506B, you can't do that because you just solicited that person, and general solicitation is not allowed. You can't run email campaigns. You can't run Facebook ads. You can't host a dinner and invite leads to that. You can host a dinner if
But
and
your
invite
friends,
family if it's everybody that you know.
Right.
It has to be everyone you know. So that's the limitation with the B. Now, the one cool thing though that the B does give you, because it does
real quick, the 506A and 506B are just the structures of the fund.
Correct.
Right?
506B and C.
B and C, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, B and C.
Yes, they are the legal safe harbors that we call them under the law to go raise capital. It's a safe harbor.
So the cool thing then about the one with family and friends, what's the benefit
there's one
there?
cool thing. The one benefit there is you actually can raise capital from non-accredited investors under that. However, the limit is 35. So you can have up to 35 non-accredited investors.
So the pool, it has to be 35 investors.
Well, the pool can be an unlimited amount of investors, but 35 of them can be non-accredited and don't have to meet the requirements.
It's like my grandma can write me $1,000 check.
Grandma can write you $1,000 check. Yeah, if your investment minimum is $1,000 and you accept $1,000 check from her, sure, she can definitely write you $1,000 check.
But then she holds one of those 35 seats of non-accredited.
She holds one of the, exactly. So you want to use them very carefully,
wisely and carefully.
Yeah, very wisely. Typically, you see 506B raises only in two situations. Okay, first one is a small raise where you know everybody that's going to be giving you the money.
What's a small raise in terms of?
It depends on the project, right? In your network. So a small raise, $5 million could be a small raise for someone, and
for me that could be like
but that could be a life. Yeah, it depends on what position you're in, right? But essentially, let's just say a small raise for that person, right? That's typically when a 506B is used, is for a small raise where you already know where all the money is coming from and you already know all the investors that are going to give you that money. And that's a small raise. You don't need to go solicit capital from anybody else. So there it truly
does depend on how experienced you are. If this is your first time, what's a big, small number for you?
Yes, exactly. And colloquially, that's why 506B is always called the friends and family exemption, because typically that's going to be friends and family, right? If you haven't built out an investor base yet. And that's the second reason why you would be probably doing a 506B, is if it's not friends and family, but you've already been doing deals for many years, or you've already built out a significant investor base, you already have a pre-existing relationship with all of those investors. So you don't have to solicit. They fall under B. You don't have to go solicit them because you already know them. And as long as you just keep the 35 non-accredited, requirement, you meet that, you don't go above that, the rest still have to be accredited, but you don't have to solicit them because you already know them. They might have invested in a prior deal. They might have, maybe you did connect with them on a prior deal, but they didn't invest on that deal. That's fine. You still know them. You don't have to, you're not generally soliciting at that point. So that's when you would use a B. So there are some very large clients that I work with that do use a B from time to time on very large raises.
Because they already have those 35 friends and family.
Yes. And that's something that we help you build out as part of working with us, is that investor base. That's what we're trying to help you do, is build a large investor base. So over time, you're less reliant on using 506C and having to go to the market each time to get money. And instead, you can rely on your own investor network and your investor base to go raise capital and fund all your deals. Essentially, the problem that we want you to have is you have too much money and not enough deals.
Yeah.
But most clients, when they come to us, the problem they have is we have not enough money, but I have a lot of deals.
Yeah.
So we want to flip that, and we help clients do that.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, no, it just seems like the real estate investing game can be such a wide range of budget and types and expectations and everything. But I think something that I did hear you talk about is like this idea of, chewing off what you're comfortable chewing off, right? Does that tailor into like the kind of mistakes that real estate investors make? What is that big mistake that you see? I guess more first time and novice real estate investors commit in their like first few attempts.
Yeah, I mean, the basic one is that I'm going to say, and obviously because I'm a lawyer, I'm going to say this, is not hiring good counsel. And I hate to, beat a dead horse, but really a lot of times it does come down to just hiring good counsel and having a good attorney that's protecting you, structuring things the right way, reviewing things, making sure that you're protected throughout the transaction, right? That's the easiest number one mistake I see people make. Because I get a lot of clients that come to me after making that mistake. That's why I know that it's such a big mistake, because there are many times I get those clients and they're like, yeah, I had a bad experience. I did a bad deal because I was not protected. Now I'm reaching out to you so I can do it the right way.
Yep.
That's why I know it's such a big, it's a common mistake, because I get clients that tell me that all the time. As far as, not biting off more than you can chew, I don't truly believe in that in real estate, because I have seen people in their first deal raise tens of millions of dollars. They've never raised capital before, and they've raised tens of millions of dollars on their first deal, on their first project, and that deal went well, and they did everything that they were supposed to do, and they've made a lot of money. Like I said when we first spoke on the last episode, one deal can change your life if you do it the right way. So I've seen clients do their first deal very successfully, raise tens of millions of dollars very successfully. So I don't believe there's this thing that you should only bite off as much as you can chew.
Yeah.
I think that if you want to go for the stars, you surely can. Just make sure you're doing everything the right way.
Right.
And you have the right infrastructure in place and you've built everything out properly. But yes, if you're going to commit time and money to doing all that, then yes, you can definitely reach the stars. You can definitely knock it out the park on your first deal. You can definitely do that. And it can be a large project, it can be a large deal, and it could be your first one. But it does take time and money to build all that out for you to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And lots of times clients don't want to do that because there's a lot of cost up front to setting all that up.
Right. Because that's another question I was going to ask you too is, like I know you said in the last episode too, step one, like find a lawyer to help you set everything up. What are the costs that are involved in terms of putting together those sorts of things before you go public and start saying, hey, I'm going to find investors? I mean, you don't have to give me like, it cost me this much, but there are costs that are involved in getting you going and set up, and why is it worth it for me to, have that, pay it? What am I going to get for it, basically?
Right. I mean, what you're going to get for it is a successful raise, right? What you're paying for is not for legal documents or marketing materials or access to capital. What you're paying for is a successful raise, is a successful investment. That's what you're paying for. So you have to shift the mindset to not paying for Shams' time. I'm not paying for Shams' documents or access to him. I'm not paying for expensive marketing materials. I'm not paying for expensive software. I'm not paying for these things. What I'm paying for is to be successful, is to have a successful raise. Because with all these things in place, the chances of being successful is significantly higher. Not saying that just because you also do all these things, you're going to be successful. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying your chances are significantly improved versus the clients that cut corners and don't do those things. I'm in the business myself, right? I raise money too. I do deals as well. I invest with sponsors, right? I invest with operators. And so I know how hard it is to do this. This is not easy. But if you do things the right way, you can make it easier on yourself, right? And like I said, there's plenty of clients and plenty of examples I can give you of people that have done it the right way and they were able to raise tens of millions of dollars, were able to start their first project, now have scaled past, $1 billion AUM. They all started with the first deal. Some of them started with a smaller deal. Some of them started with a very large deal. They did it, right? Now, not saying everybody can do it, but they did it because one of the reasons they succeeded is because they did it the right way.
Right.
So it's all about just trying to avoid this, cutting corners and things like that, right?
Yep.
You don't want to. This is the kind of stuff where you don't want to cut corners. This is the stuff that you want to just get done the right way the first time around. It's just going to save you time and headache and just make you more successful. So I don't get the mindset sometimes of people trying to cut corners to do this, because it's like, I don't get it. I get being lean. I get being efficient. I get managing costs. We can help you do all that. We're very flexible. If a client comes to us and cost is a problem, there's ways around that.
Yep.
We can figure out something to help you, but don't cut corners. Let us still help you. We can get you there. I tell clients all the time, I'm very flexible to work with what you have, right? And I'll be transparent and honest with you if I can help you or I can't. So don't think of cost as something, especially when you come work with us. We're not rigid like that.
Yeah.
Because we can package things out differently, right? Do you want just us to be involved on the legal side? Do you want us to help you with the capital raising? Do you want us to help you with the marketing? Do you want us to set up the software for you? Do you want fund administration services? Like what are you looking for? What do you need help with? Where can we, how much involvement do you want us to have? That's what the cost is going to come down to. We can have, if you really want to streamline everything, we can be involved in a very limited capacity, get you what you need, make sure you're still very protected.
Yeah.
And then you can be on your way. Or I can roll the red carpet out for you and give you everything too.
Right.
And we can package all of it up and you can have access to us 24/7, and we'll take you from 0 to 100 really quickly. We can give you that too.
Nice.
So
that's an awesome answer. That's great. It seems like you can make it work with anybody who's willing to risk a little bit, it seems like, and put effort into it.
That's a great word, risk. So we have programs for clients to minimize that risk.
Yeah.
Right. Like one of the biggest objections I get is, well, I don't want to spend thousands of dollars on legal fees, because what if I don't succeed? Now I'm out thousands of dollars on legal fees.
Yeah.
There are ways we can fix that to where you won't be out that money, because we can take some risks with you. So again, depends on who the client is. It depends on what they're looking for. But like I said, we're flexible and we want you to succeed, because we know if we help you succeed, you'll come back to us and use us forever. And we'll always be your lawyers. We'll always be on your team. That's worth more to me long term than the money up front. Right. So I'm always like finding ways to be flexible with clients on legal spend and things like that. But yes, there are ways to fix that problem. If that's the issue, right? If that's the objection that, hey, I don't want to spend all this money on legal and on marketing and this and that, and then I go do the project and I completely fail and I can't raise any money, I'm going to be out all this money. No, you're not.
Yeah, we can work around it. We can make it work.
Yeah, we can make sure that we get you to where you are successful. Yep. One, but two, and if you're not, we can make sure that money does not go to waste, and there's ways to do that.
Cool. That's awesome. But at the same time, scared money doesn't make money. So
scared money does not make money. You have to put up money to take risks to go do what you want to do. Also, investors see that too. They will judge you on how much you've spent to do this.
Well, it's like, why would I invest in this fund when you've done nothing to get it to this point other than Right. Investors see when documents, when representation is sloppy, when it's or non-existent, right? Like if you go use AI to go build out documents to go do this, and then clients ask you, well, who's your law firm? Who's backing you? And you don't really have an answer. Yeah, you're like, I did this on LegalZoom the other day. We're ready.
Yeah. They're not going to invest with you. I tell clients all the time, I'm not selling documents. I'm selling you success.
Yeah.
I'm selling
the odds of this being a successful thing.
I'm selling you a successful raise, and I'm getting you to the point from point A to point B to where you're going to be successful and make a lot of money. I'm not giving you just a standard set of documents. Right. That's not what's happening here. And clients will judge. And what I'm also giving you is I'm giving you credibility. If I'm backing you, if I'm your law firm, if I'm your attorney, clients are going to feel confident because they're going to look me up and they're going to see who I work with, the deals I do. And they're going to judge you based on that, based on me. And you want to be judged based on what clients see when they look up me. Because I work with a lot of very successful people. Yep. And I've helped them get there too. I don't know if you know this, but I've represented multiple billionaires. I represent multiple professional athletes.
Yeah. So when it comes to let's say I'm going on my first raise ever, my first real estate investment deal, I'd love to have you on my pitch deck. I'd love to have you on my team because I can be like, look who's representing me. Look what this guy's done. You're going to make me look 1,000 times better than just showing up to a bunch of rich people's restaurant dinner or whatever and just being like, hey, give me money.
Exactly. Exactly.
And who's representing you? Oh, I mean, I'm kind of in negotiation right now. I don't know yet. Versus here's my team. Here's who I have. Yeah. It's going to make me look amazing.
Yeah. No one's going to give you $100,000 or $1 million or $10 million without, looking into who's backing you and what you've done to essentially create the offering to get to where you are. And they're going to judge you 100% on that, as rightfully they should, because they want to make sure that you're working with the right people and that you're going to be a good steward of their money. And everything just comes back to that, right? That's at the end of the day, the number one thing that the investor cares about is this person going to be a good steward of my money? And one of the ways they figure that out is by looking at who do you work with, right? Who is backing you? Who has your back when things go wrong, right? So that's what I tell clients all the time is you want me to have your back. and if I do, you're going to be a lot more successful.
Cool. That's a great ending to that video. That was awesome.